Today is September 21st, 2025, and this is a reflection piece on my confirmation of my decision to dissolve the marriage. And it's basically based off of a personal characteristic versus what I know that God measures and needs from us. And so this is based on my desire to have a God fearing spouse and what that means and looks like in a marriage. In my previous marriage, there was deception and a lack of protection and in lies told, and also, to my face. At one point, I was told, in his words, that he was unhappy and he's going to get a girlfriend, going to find a girlfriend or of some sort, something of that reference. And a God fearing man, a person, a marriage material man, would never say that to his wife. It's ungodly first. And secondly, you just don't say that to your wife, no matter what type of angry mood you're in, no matter what she has done. And in my case, I did nothing to for that to be the response or retaliation or reaction to, but that was his choice, his desire. I also was thinking about how certain things that were said to me, I was just like, oh, he's just mad, he's just talking, he's just saying something. But I was reminded that I cannot hear what they didn't say. So basically, if a person tells me something, then I should believe them to an extent. And if it's something that is not current but can potentially occur in the future, then I need to look for fruits of it. So here's the explanation. If a person is telling me that they are going to be deceptive and they have a desire to be deceptive and that's what they aim to do, I don't need proof of that. I should just believe that they're saying what's in what they want to do, what they're going to do, because out of the abundance of the heart speaks the mouth. So whatever someone is filled up with, they say. If someone, for instance, says that they want maybe some large home of some sort, then in that moment, or there should be works towards saving for that home, preparing credit for the home, actually learning how to manage a home that they're currently in, or there should be consistent speaking or about the plan for the home with actions towards it, which would be the fruit that could indicate that they are working towards that home. But if someone is saying something in reference to the home and they're not actually working towards it and they're credited the right, they're just not doing anything. So it means that that's not really what you want to do. How I can turn it around on myself is I can say, hey, I'm going to have a hair business. Okay. And then what I did was I started buying hair equipment, not necessarily equipment. I didn't need equipment for the locks business, but I did buy um, a hair, a chair to do the hair in. I actually obtained a client within feasible time. I made a web page designed for getting hair lock followers. So that was my fruit to prove that I was actually working towards that. I did not say things that I didn't mean in anger because um, that's not what I wanted to do. I know that in some point he lied to his mom and he indicated that every time I got mad, I or even he tried to tell me that I said every time I get mad, I talked about a divorce. And it's not true, but I did bring up divorce multiple times. But it wasn't every time we had an argument. But so if in his defense, he didn't take me seriously because every time I got mad, why would you then go and tell your mother? So if you don't think I'm serious, why would you tell your mother? But he, I don't know. I can't say what he knew, but going back to that fear, God fearing man, it's it's like he didn't fear God and he just acted how he wanted to act with me and then faulted me for not believing him or not wanting to be in a relationship with him. And I trust God. I have questions. I definitely have questions. But God doesn't God doesn't just say, just do what I say. And don't ask me no questions. He don't always give me an answer to my questions, and I do have to have um, a strong sense of obedience when it comes to the Lord. But he does allow me to ask questions for understanding, not telling him he's wrong or something like that. And I'm talking about God. So God does want us to understand if we want to understand. Um, but uh, but I'm not going to put myself, knowing the God that I know, in a situation that will displease God, especially now. But that man in that marriage, I don't know who he is now, but in that marriage, he just was living all willy nilly, and I'm supposed to be submissive to him, and he don't know where he going. He's uncovered. He's got me uncovered. It's like, oh no, I'm out here with no protection, and you're just letting the evil in all aspects. And now I'm vulnerable and uncovered and raw for attack. So I do thank the angel for God's angels for being on strong duty with me, but because of who I was attached to, the evil had fair game. So in a physical sense, he left me uncovered by with no protection by intentionally putting me in the line of fire with people in his life, putting me in a line of fire with himself or line of people, and then taking their perception of me, um, allowing their perception of me. He had no control of their perception of me, but he initiated their perception of me by feeding them false tales about me. It's unfortunate because it's just unfortunate. Um, and also, um, financially, he left me unprotected and exposed. And he didn't go to God, he went to someone else, and it's just wrong. So the God fearing man, in my eyes, is going to do nothing to lose me. He's going to understand the gift of me that he has from the Lord. He will go to the Lord about me. And again, that person is going to be a human being. So they are at liberty to make a mistakes, but they're also going to be repentant. So that means that if for some reason they get upset with me and they lash out about me, and not in all this blatant deception, but they may talk about me in not lies, just their perception of a situation. They may have a conversation with someone else, and then they're going to immediately feel convicted. Like, man, I should have been talking about her, or I stretched that a little bit, or I left out a part, or something like that. And they're going to go to God, and they're going to correct it with God. They're going to correct it with me, and they're going to correct it with whoever they spoke about. It was like, no, I was so upset when I talked to you, and thank you for listening to me or whatever, but I was wrong. I was just really upset. It wasn't as bad as I made it sound, or and I realized why she said that or why she did that or whatever, and they're going to make sure. Well, they can't make sure, but they are going to dig up any weeds that they have planted about me in someone else. And it's not about that someone else in their opinion, but they're going to make sure that anything that they planted about me gets corrected. Yeah, hopefully they won't even do that. But as a human being, they can be upset or be in a space on a trip, on a business trip, and we end up getting into it about something, and that's who they're with, and that's who they kind of talk to about it. But they know to ultimately go to the Lord about me. I love this woman. She's a gift from God, and they're not going to do anything to lose me or to displease God, because God is first. God, they pray for me. They know what they need in me, what they want in me, and they recognize what's in me and the gift of me from God. Whenever we meet each other, and it's the repentant part of it, not only to save themselves or to free themselves from the guilt and conviction that they feel, but in gratitude that God has blessed them with me and they don't want to lose me, and they're not telling God, like, I don't want this gift. It's just like if you got a Walkman and it stopped working, you can get mad and throw the Walkman and slam it somewhere, or you can sit it down and figure out, oh, it's not broken. It just needs refreshed batteries. Walkman is such an old, but that was like a gift that I wanted as a child. in today's time, it could be your cell phone. Maybe you got a gift of a brand new Android, for me, iPhone for others. And you love it.